Hello guys, welcome back to another Lumley training video. In this one we're going to be doing our daily recap for the 26th of August. So to get straight into it, as always, again, we post this over on the Discord. We posted at 9:25 Eastern Standard Time. Or, sorry, 9:24 Eastern Standard Time. Spy range to fill for the day, nothing on the queues. So sometimes we get ranges that we look for a fill. Over on the S&P, this was this range over here. So what this means is, again, we expect SPY to open wherever it opens, push down and basically fill this entire range. So what happened if we go over to SPY? What happened? Again, we called that pre-market. When we're trading around here, we get an open drive, full straight into this range, straight through it, and you can see what it does. It retests this range and then we can drop even further. But really the overall trade and the main trade for the day was just basically playing puts from this range here through and taking profits near this low, because again, this is the predictable move. That is the predictable move. Once we break through here, there is still trades to take, but we just take on more risk. So that was always, if we're trying to go, for example, a small account, we can take these ones with a quite big size into the short, and then again, we're taking profits as soon as we kind of hit the bottom of this range, because then there's no guarantee that we kind of continue, or it definitely isn't as high probability that we continue that range. Now, if we continue over on the Discord, what are we looking at? NQ targets for the day. So again, we had a lot of gaps kind of created pre-market, both to the downside. What we were kind of hoping for, and would have been a much nicer or cleaner trade, was if we kind of came up, we filled all these gaps, and then we could short kind of the NQ ranges to start trading the SPY. That would have been the overall nicest game plan, but again, we don't always get that. Or again, it could have been the opposite. So SPY would drop, fill the range and open, then look for longs at the bottom. In this case, what happened was it wasn't as clean as we wanted. SPY obviously came, we filled that range quite quickly, but we didn't get the initial bounce. And actually looking at this in hindsight, what we should have actually said is that it actually is not the nicest setup. Nicest setup would have been an opening drive up to these targets, because they're the only things keeping us up here. And then not only that, we would have had these downside gaps to fill, as well as that SPY range. So really, actually, again, that was a mistake on my behalf. But overall, again, we were looking for fills of all of these levels, and what we got these fills. They provided a really nice entry for the shorts, and again, I can pull this up and show you what I mean by that. But these got filled basically right at the open. Again, those two lines there and these two here, they got filled, and that basically predicted the top before we got that drive. And again, these upside targets would have been nicer if they weren't filled in the open. For example, if we drop, we fill it by range, we hit this, then those targets would be lovely. But because half of them filled, it definitely makes the upside move a bit weaker. And again, they're just things to note going forward. And again, this is why as well, few SPY puts on the open in case we get the open drop. But in case we pump on the open, that's where we look to add to the SPY puts. And again, we're using the NQ levels to know when to add to those SPY puts. In this case, we didn't really get an adding opportunity on these, so instead we just got a smaller size on the open drops. And again, I even went through exactly what I was showing you. The 562 puts, we bought them for 65 cents a contract. That's 1/3 of our size. We will look to get another 2/3 if these contracts go down to 51 cents. And again, we're trading the 562 puts. Now, we put up these options. What do they look like? Because again, these are the ones we traded, the 562 puts. We open these up. Throw these on chart one just for now, and what you can see is actually some of them we traded over on this platform. You can kind of see we bought one at 65, we bought another one at 78. The reason we bought the 78, so I can show you why we bought the 78, and that is because if you zoom in over here, where did we buy this candle? We bought it on kind of this pop here. The reason for that was, again, we started coming into this range, we tested the statistical mean. Chances are you're going to continue to drop here, so we couldn't be as patient waiting for that 51 entry, which again in this case the low was 56. We never got it, so that's why we had to take a higher average to make sure we got into the trade. And then what you can see on this pop here, we've taken these profits. Again, this one, for example, this is a cash account, this is a smaller account, so on this one, that's why we're taking those profits quick. Even the exact setup as you get here, that's your entry, that's your target. Don't care what it does in between there. We don't care if it skyrockets or sinks after the trade plan. It's getting there. Take your profit there. Again, that's going to be the high quality setup for the smaller accounts. But overall, these options obviously did continue to go. We got in our first contract at 65. So again, 65 to the highest of days would have done over a 300% move. But again, that bit isn't predictable. What is predictable? Getting in at the 65, taking your profits around 105. That was a predictable move, and that was a 62% play, which is not, obviously nothing's guaranteed in the market, but probably a 90% chance that that works out. So that was the main play over on the Discord. Now again, yeah, if you're scalping, they did 30% pretty quickly. NQs, if we broke low, we have 2 more to play to the downside. I will watch SPY for entry. Once SPY fills out range, I would look to play the NQ levels. So again, we can go back over to the NQs and start seeing what happens. So these levels, again, this day definitely dived a lot more than we expected. We had this level and this level, both provided nice bounce play opportunities. Again, might not look big in the hindsight of the chart, but that is still nearly it is a 30-point bounce off these levels. There's definitely trades within them, but obviously that is a much more overall bigger move. Now, if we continue to go down, again, these were scalps. That's exactly how I was playing them, and the reason for that was really there was reasons for it to both drop and kind of continue up. It was a bit more of a mixed emotion. So when we don't have a clear insight in which direction, unless we're very clearly bullish, very clearly bearish, then we can hold them. But in this case, again, if we can kind of scalp out for 20, 25 points or so, you know, it makes sense to kind of just scalp these contracts. Now, again, just talked about the average, and I kind of already went over that. Top of the range, so should go to fill soon. Wrong fill spelling, but yeah, that's when you expect to fill the range, because again, we hit the top of the range, we kind of pull back, and you expect that drive down, which is exactly what we got. Now, don't always put this in the Discord, but again, this is just something you should know with these levels going forward, is when I give you ranges, what you can do is fib these out. Fib these to the downside, for example, and you can fib these to the upside. I'll show you how we use these levels. Reversals. So for example, the high day was caught at the 2618, and a nice bounce opportunity was at the 423, and again we come and test it again. Nice bounce opportunities, you retest the 1618, and then you do another dive. The way you normally trade these is again 1618, you can sometimes trade off of them. Again, the retests tend to be a bit nicer on these moves, and again you can even see that here. It's kind of that level there. You kind of break down, you get that retest right there, and then you get the sink. So again, I would normally use these levels to retest, and these ones more for reversals / bounce plays. So what you can see is, again, we come down, not the cleanest bounce straight off there, but coming down to 4263, lovely bounce opportunity. So that is how you can use those fibs, just so you know. Again, we just kind of put the trades we were getting, because we were getting really nice entries on all of these. And again, we're also looking at the VIX. VIX kept creating gaps, and again, we can put up the VIX chart. When you're looking at VIX, we can just use a 5-minute chart. And what we can see is it did create many gaps. We had yesterday's gap to fill. So again, if the VIX has a move to the upside, this is how we can predict to be a bit more bearish in the overall market, because if the VIX goes up, the market's going to fall. And again, we had a gap from yesterday to come and fill. We also have one more which isn't quite filled. So again, that can still be a bit of bearish momentum in the market to try and fill those. Again, these intraday ones were getting filled pretty quickly. And now you can see we've been left with a few upside gaps, which we could probably look to trade for tomorrow. So if tomorrow we start to see a bit of a run, again, it's inverse. So in these cases, we need to move up to get to these targets. So in the overall market, we can be a bit more bearish. And again, we've got some opening gaps on VIX. These got filled right at the end of the day. So again, that is how we're using the VIX. Now, is there anything else we're going to need to cover? Again, the anchored VWAPs. Quickly run over those. We go through these every video. Again, we tend to expect a touch of these. So again, we go to the ones we placed on Friday. We have this one, and this one. Again, all of these have no tags. Obviously, the last candles of the day will have no tags. So they're normally nice targets, and they'll get hit very quickly on the opening move. But you also then get the further out ones which you can kind of use to target. And what you can see is, again, they test a high one. That's your opportunity short, again, lined up with 3 other things. Too short, as we've already gone through. Again, we kind of open on that middle one, and then you're going to target this down one, which again goes towards the SPY range rate that we were looking at. Same thing on this one. You have these 3 anchors. Support, or target, 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 and what happened? You came and hit with them. Again, more reasons to be bearish, and again, this is why we're mainly playing these bearish moves on the day. Once we kind of had hit all of these out, we had that last VIX gap to look at, which we've already gone through. Once that VIX gap was filled, then we could turn a lot more bullish on the day. That is basically everything we went from the Discord. We were looking at a lot more. We were trading, especially the ES contracts, quite a lot. I'll make a post on it because I don't currently have an NinjaTrader open to show you all the trades. But what we will show you is we basically kept buying these bottoms and kept longing into these. And so I'll show you the trades just to show you know, just so you know we were actually catching them. But overall, the trades today were pretty strong. The bias again was overall right, not as clean as always, because we did have a bit more of a mixed bag considering we were looking for longs and shorts. And you can see not everything filled. These upside gaps on Nasdaq have been left, but these aren't all bad because it means we can use them for targets, especially for these extended hours. We love trading these because you get these move downs. If we start to create some gaps up here, you then got the short-term gaps to fill as well as the long-term gaps. So if we can get some upside gaps to be looking at, these could be some nice pre-market or extended hours trading opportunities. So that's what we're looking at. Again, when we're looking to enter, we'll throw them in the Discord and we'll cover them in tomorrow's recap. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's it. Peace.